Hey everyone, it's Richard, CEO and founder of altFINS. As most of you already know, altFINS is a fantastic tool for finding profitable trading ideas, whether it's using the screener or automated chart pattern recognition or the trade setups that we offer and various other tools. It really saves you a lot of time and generates great trading ideas. Now, finding the right trading idea is not the end of the process. Obviously, as you know, executing the trade is just as important, and in fact, can make a big difference in your profitability, and both on the right entry strategy, but also on the right exit strategy, and of course, with risk management. And so I want to show you a tool that I began to recently use. It's called Altrady, and which gives me like total complete control over my trades, but also flexibility with my trading strategy, both again on the entry and the exit side. So let's go ahead and use an example trade setup that we have in our technical analysis section. Let's take a look at Solana. Um, I like this trade setup quite a bit. Obviously, this asset is in a strong uptrend. It's now pulling back, consolidating a bit in the bullish flag pattern, which is typical after big move up. There is some consolidation with some traders taking profits and others are now buying this asset as it comes in a bit. Now, where I want to buy it is here in the support zone between $210 and $190. I think this, as you can see on the Mondays or recent correction, this is where the price found support. And this is where I want to buy it. I think that I'm hoping that I will get a chance at it, to get my hands on it. And what I think it will happen is that it'll bounce from here and shoot back up to the all-time high of $260. That's a level that it recently reached. Now, that all-time high was set way back a couple of years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, but it had reached it maybe 3 weeks ago, got rejected. It's very typical when you reach an all-time high. It's very stiff resistance area. So it got rejected and pulled back. But I think getting involved around the $200 area, so between 210 and 190, is a great entry point for me. And if you look at the trade setup that we described here, it basically says exactly what I mentioned, is that we wait for price to pull back near the $210 support, maybe for 50% of the position entry, and then we would place another second half or 50% of that position if it trades all the way to 190 support, right? And the potential upside is back to 260, so we're looking at around 30% potential upside. And my stop loss would be around below the support here, about 170 or so. Okay, so now one thing is to have a great trading plan like we just described, and it's really easy with the trade setups that we have here. We've got about about 65 of these trade setups for some of the major altcoins. Some of them were labeled as hot, meaning we have a higher level of confidence in those trade setups. So one thing is, like I said, finding the trade idea. The other is really how to execute it properly. And for that, I've started using, like I said, an excellent tool. It's called Altrady. And when you come to the tool, it's got a lot of different neat features, allows you to track your portfolio across multiple exchanges. But really, the most powerful features for me are on the terminal side, where I can really create advanced orders, execution orders of my trade. So let's go ahead and continue with our example. I've connected some of the exchanges where I have accounts. I'm going to do this trade on Bybit. So let's just say I want to trade Solana USDT. Okay, here we go. Now, Altrady has obviously some basic trade or order types, market limit, standard stuff. But what's really powerful for me, okay, first of all, let's change this chart from hourly to daily. That way it syncs up with what we have on the trade setups as well, because those are daily, daily interval, time interval trade setups. Now, what I really love about this trading tool is some of these advanced trading trade order features. So I can select ladder, right? And I mentioned my support zone that I want to be buying Solana in is 190 to 210. So I'm going to first select my position size. Let's just say I want to buy $1,000 worth of Solana. Okay, it automatically places a couple of these orders or levels where I would start buying and finish buying. I want to move those down to 190, right? That's my support zone, 190 and 110. Here we go. And now, I want to get a little more sophisticated. It's not just that I want to buy it here, and then if it dips below that, I want to buy it more at 190. I want to be buying somewhere in this range. I don't know how far it will dip. Maybe it'll just dip slightly to this level and then go straight back up. Maybe it'll dip deeper. But I'm happy to be adding to my position anywhere in this zone. So what I'm going to do is say, I want to buy it not in 3, but actually in 4 different slots or 4 different bullets, if you will, right? Right now I got 4 different entry levels. So when the price hits the first one, it'll buy some. Then it hits the second one, it'll buy more. When the price dips even more, I'll buy even more, and so on until it gets to 180, 90, and that's where I will have my full position if it gets there. So that's my entry, but it's you can also decide, because right now the way the price, the size scale, the way it was scaled, it was using linear scaling, meaning that when the price comes down here, I'll buy half a Solana. When the price gets to 100, let's see, about $204, then I'll buy almost another full 1 Solana, 0.94. So it actually increases the order size the further down the price dips. Now, that's one way to do it. Maybe you want to do it equally, which each level it'll buy the same amount of Solana. Fine, that's cool too. Or maybe you want to do it the reverse. You want to buy as much, a higher portion at the 210 level because you're confident that it's probably not going to go below that. And you want to buy a little more and a little less and a little less as the price goes down, right? Okay, that's another strategy. I like mine the way I like it is that I buy some if it dips here, I'll buy more if it dips even lower. I grow confident the lower it goes, the more upside that I have. So the way I chose to um, scale my size is actually from little to way more at the bottom. So now I have 4 entry points here with linear size scale. Sweet. Now how do I want to exit, right? So this is really powerful is that I don't have to wait until I'm in the position to set up my take profit. I can set it up right here at the beginning, at the outset. Now, what did the trade setup say? The trade setup said that we want to be exiting, or my target is at $260. Now, of course, I'm not going to be greedy and just only sell if it gets to 260. I want to start selling. If I get filled here, I want to start selling some at 240, some at 250, right? Start taking some of those profits as the price swings back up, as I predict it will. So again, I'm going to you could just use specific targets like this one, or may have multiple targets, or you could once again use those scales. I mean, this is really sweet. So I want to say I'm going to start selling right here at 240. Okay, and my last exit will be, or price target will be 260. Nice. Now again, you can have multiple exit points. I'm going to use 4 of them. right? And again, you can change the way the size, you want to maybe sell some here, more there, or even more, or all of it here, right? So you can change the size scale. Right now I have equal to exit the position. Now, once I set that up, I can do one more trick, which is really sweet. A lot of times, especially in this market, when prices break through the all-time high, like here with the Solana, all-time high now is around 264. Once it breaks all-time high, sometimes it just goes vertical, and I don't want to miss out on that potential, vertical climb, big upside potential. We've seen that with a lot of altcoins now. I mean, it is altcoin season. Market's hot, market's bullish. Normally, I wouldn't worry about that in the normal market phase, but right now it happens a lot. The price just goes on a tear, and just goes vertical for 20, 30, 50%. So I want to let some of my position ride higher. I'm not going to close all of my position through the take profit level. So what I can do is say enable trailing for the last target. So the last target at 260 um, will not execute right away. If the price keeps moving higher, then I'm still in the trade until it starts dipping lower. And how far is the dip, the distance that I want to sort of trail? Default is about 3.5. I like that actually. I'd say 3%. Okay. So as long as the price is going higher, one portion of my trade just keeps going and riding that wave until it stops and dips, and that's where I exit with the trail take profit order. Sweet. Now, what about the disaster scenario where I'm wrong and this price just tanks and craters? Always use stop loss. We talk about that in our trade setups all the time. Our trade setups have stop loss levels, and we talk about it in our lesson 9, I believe, on risk management. Stop loss levels, trade size is very important, having the right reward to risk ratio, RRR. So I'm going to use a stop loss level for sure. Where I think I mentioned my stop loss is really close to where it actually hit right here. I'm going to place it at 175 here. Oops. Okay. Um, and let's see. Now, the nice part about this right here is a couple of things. First of all, my protection. What does that mean? If I'm right and the price dips and I get filled on some of these levels here in the support zone, and then it starts rising, right? Once I start hitting the take profit levels, this stop loss, I want to be moving it up, right? And that's another powerful part of this tool, is that there's flexibility. I can plan for that scenario using the tool by saying, okay, follow take profit, meaning, and it even explains it right here, that after each take profit target is reached, the stop loss price will be moved up, okay? And that actually protects my downside. So that way it doesn't happen that I get filled here, then I hit the first take profit level, and then it just plummets. And great, I had nice profits here. I realized some of that profit, but then I lost most of it. Okay, so my stop loss will start moving up as the price moves up. So that's also pretty sweet feature. And then another one, how much am I risking? One of the risk management concepts that we talk about, like I said, stop loss, trade size, and RRR, reward to risk ratio. Trade size is important. Generally, the rule of the thumb for traders should be don't risk more than 2% of your portfolio. Now, that doesn't mean that you only want to, that your trade size will be 2% of the portfolio, is that you don't want to lose more than 2% of your portfolio, okay? And so here it actually tells me with the stop loss where it is, I'm potentially at risking about 5.5% of my portfolio. That's more than I want to. So I can do either move my stop loss higher. Let's just say if I move it here, okay, I've improved this, but I would prefer actually not to do that. I'm going to keep the stop loss where it was, but I'm going to reduce my trade size. Okay. All right. So I'll get back up here. I started with 1,000, right? My trade size has now actually been adjusted. Okay. Already, but I'm going to reduce it more to 500. Let's see what happens. 500. How much am I risking now? 3%. Still a bit too much. Okay. Now I'm only using about $10,000 portfolio here. If your portfolio is bigger, obviously. Okay, what if I go to 400 here? Okay, now I'm at 2.5%. Okay, fine, right? So that's another sweet part that you don't have to calculate yourself. How much am I risking here? If all this goes, just wrong, and it could happen. We could be wrong. Could be bigger market correction, and I gotta protect myself. I don't want to, lose my pants on it. And so, one of the things that's important is to keep the trades relatively small. That way I don't sweat it. And once I set this trade setup, I just go to sleep, don't worry about it, and see what happens. Now, you know, at what point do I want to just forget about this trade, right? Maybe there's a scenario where I don't want to have this trade, execute anymore. Well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can have a time-based auto close saying, okay, keep this open for, I don't know, a week, 5 days, whatever. One of the things that I like to use is the expire position at, meaning, well, what happens if the price never gets to my fill, right? Never gets to these. Unfortunately, I don't get lucky, and the price doesn't dip to my support zone, and it just kind of turns around here, never gets there, and starts going up and up and up and up. Well, then at that point, I want to, this whole thing to be canceled. It's a different situation. I'll revisit it maybe with a different trading strategy, maybe with a breakout trading strategy, but not sort of the dip in the uptrend or pullback in uptrend or a strategy that I'm trying to execute here. So, so what happens? So I can move this up to say, okay, I'll move it up close to that first take profit level. That if the price doesn't get any fill, doesn't go into my support zone, I don't get filled on any of these levels, and just turns around and start rising, I missed it. So be it. Um, at that point, if it crosses this level, it says position will be canceled at. Once the price crosses $236, the whole trade setup will just be canceled. Sweet. Okay. So now I've got a scenario if all goes to crap and it just goes straight down, I've got my stop loss. If the price fills partially or fully and then start rising, I'm taking profits appropriately, but I'm still letting some of my trade ride higher with a trailing stop take profit order. And also I have a scenario where I don't get filled and the price just goes up from here, and then in that case I'll just have the order completely canceled. Sweet. I mean, this is the kind of control and flexibility that I was talking about, and it just just really helps us plan and execute the order, and trade with much better precision. Like I said, control, flexibility, just to perfection. It's optimization of the trade execution to its highest level, and so now I just place the order, and like I said, go to sleep and see what happens in the next few days. I can always come back here, click on one of these things, and the whole order disappears. All right, guys. Well, I hope this has been helpful. Check out the link to Altrady. in our video or below our video as well, and check it out. You may like it and find it useful, like I have. I think it helps. Again, it's helped my trading profitability because, and also just frankly, it's a time saver. I don't have to keep monitoring the markets for the right trade entry and exit constantly, and just I can create a little bit of a more complexity or advanced situations. I can plot for or plan for a more complex scenarios in my trade execution, both on the entry and the exit side. All right, everyone. Well, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at invest@altfins.com. In the meantime, keep in mind that this video was for informational purposes only, not meant to be financial advice, and do your own research. Good luck trading.